100% Geovany Quenda has to go to World Cup to represent Portugal. Brazil has Estêvão. Spain has Lamine Yamal. Portugal have Rodrigo Mora and Geovany Quenda.
Barcelona have Lamine Yamal. Chelsea have Estêvão, and Bayern Munich have Lennart Karl, because it's that type of talent that we are talking about. It's a world class talent, and I think is Ballon d'Or potential. Lennart Karl.
And the player you must know that is going to be the future of Austria, present and future of Austria, is
Johann Moser.
The silver ball, the second best player in the Under-17 World Cup, the top goal scorer of the Under-17 World Cup, playing at Red Bull Salzburg. Kenan Yıldız is so obvious to everyone, not just Juventus fans, football fans, that Juventus have to extend his contract if they want to become one of the best teams in the world and win the Champions League one day. Kenan Yıldız must be one of the diamonds of that project. Season 3, episode 14 of the FC Wonderkid podcast, here with my great co-host, Felipe Sousa. How are you doing, my guy?
Very well, Alex, and you? How are you doing?
I am incredibly excited to say Portugal are under-17 world champions for the first time in our history. And I'm not being biased to say something like this. And we're going to be reacting in this episode about the Portuguese young talents, about Lennart Karl, Estêvão, Quenda, about Como that is going bold in Serie A. Can they finish top 6? So listen to the FC Wonderkid podcast, episode 14 on Spotify, Apple, and obviously on YouTube. So yes, this is very exciting for me. But starting here with a big news about Wonderkids from this week. It's Estêvão, my days, man. Estêvão, big game against Barcelona. Estêvão was a brighter star than Lamine Yamal in the Champions League match in Stamford Bridge, and justified to everyone in the world, Estêvão, that he is the most talented Brazilian to leave Brazil since Neymar to Europe. Estêvão is becoming that player, and we all can see it in front of us, right, Felipe?
Right. What he's doing this season, it's not normal. Even in a tough game against Barcelona, he proved himself again to the ones that didn't believe, me included, that didn't believe that Estêvão would have a great impact this season on the Chelsea first team. And I think he should be a regular starter now. Because
100%.
Estêvão, I think, he will be a starter for Brazil in the World Cup, because he's great now, and I think his development under Maresca will be so good.
Top scorer under Ancelotti in the Brazilian national team. It's not Vini, it's not Rodrigo. He has more than them both combined. Estêvão for Brazil under Ancelotti.
Yeah. And I think he is not too far from reach the Vini Jr. goals for Brazilian national team.
Yes, he's got 3 goals to go to get to the 8 goals.
Yeah.
Embarrassing for Vini.
Embarrassing
for 45 appearances for Brazil, 8 goals. Vini for Real Madrid is one thing. One of the best wingers we've seen in the last 5 years, easily.
Yeah.
But Vini for Brazil is not as good as Estêvão, and he's 18. And we can already see that. It's phenomenal, man. And Brazil has another talent we can mention now, Rayan, that is cooking at Vasco da Gama, elite Wonderkid, that he can go to any top European team currently, in my opinion.
Yeah.
14 goals in Brasileirão, correct?
Yeah. And he made history, because he is the top under-19 goal scorer of the history of Brasileirão. He surpassed Dynamite that had 13 goals in 1973. And now in 2025, Rayan scored 14 goals and is the top under-19 goal scorer.
So naturally, one of the most informed under-19 players on the planet. So you gotta know about Rayan of Vasco da Gama that we've mentioned here in the podcast before, and could go to the World Cup if an injury comes from a Luis Enrique, from a winger that could be unexpected. But staying in the European lane here, and Brazilian, and with Estêvão. How are you feeling with Estêvão? You say he must start, but what other Chelsea player do you believe must start that you're seeing growing at the club?
I think one player that is clear to me, but I think it's not clear, I think for some Chelsea fans and for Maresca, is Joshua Champong. I think he must start for Chelsea, in my opinion, because Every time I see him play, even if he starts, even if he comes from the bench, he delivers.
True.
So he's solid. He has the right. I think he has the right mentality and focus to play in the big club like Chelsea. And I think he's very complete because he's good on the ball, he's good off the ball, he's aggressive in the duels. So I think Joshua Champong, in my opinion, is underrated and should start already for Chelsea. In my opinion,
Completely. And it's another player made in Coben,
Made
just
in
like
Coben.
Levi Colville, that if he come back from injury, Levi Colville, do you think it could be Levi Colville and Joshua Champong?
yeah, in my opinion, it should be. But,
Chalobah is also a great option, also made in Coven, and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, true,
a bit longer ago, but also made in Coven. That's what Chelsea, modern day Chelsea, can do with this academy that's been producing so many talents. You
One of
see
the
now,
best in the world.
like a Mason Mount, like a Declan Rice, like an Hudson Odoi that didn't reach the highest level, but he's still there at the
Hyun
top.
Mo,
But that's more recent.
Yeah.
And now we have Inmueka, we have Gesteri,
Yeah,
we have
true.
so many of these young players that are growing in Coben, and Gesteri was at Palace a season ago. So yes, some Palace fans, if they're listening to the pod, they can be a bit angry. But you said center backs. I think it makes sense to mention. Next season, I don't know if Joshua Champong is going to be a starter, mate, because Aaron Anselmino is a must starter for me at Chelsea next season. He is an absolute monster, and I could see a future in the World Cup. It's bold right now to say, but he could get minutes in the World Cup for
I
Argentina.
think it's not bold. I think it's not
For
bold.
the quality that we see at Dortmund, it makes complete sense, right?
Yeah, but how many Argentinian centre backs do you think are ahead of Aaron Anselmino? Normally.
I'd say Romero must start
Romero,
for the
of
legacy
course.
he has, but I'd put maybe Anselmino. I agree.
I see no one. Romero, of course, but after Romero, I see no one.
No, there is
one.
a chance. Foyth is not as good, for sure.
And let me say this, because Aaron Anselmino, if he's injury free, is a real demon, and I think some people don't realize that. Because let me tell you something: since the end of October, he returned from injury. He established himself as a starter in the Borussia Dortmund team, made his first European assist and UCL assist in the
Yes.
Champions League assist, and scored his first goal for Borussia Dortmund.
Against Leverkusen.
Yes, against Leverkusen. And also another fact, in the 5 Anselmino starts for Borussia Dortmund conceded only 2 goals. So I think the impact that Anselmino shows in a Big 5 leagues and in the Champions League,
Elite signing.
Elite signing, and
Could reach potential as good as Estêvão at the center back position.
I think Estêvão will be
Top 5 center backs in a row.
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
Anselmino become that?
Yeah.
So he could reach that level at his
Could
position.
reach, but I think Estêvão will be
A
top,
certainty
top,
for
top,
that
top.
position.
Yeah.
And yes, I completely agree. Anselmino, Joshua Champong, Lucas Augsburg, Mamadou Sarr, the list of young center backs at Chelsea is absolutely elite, and they're absolutely cooking. But there's another position that's us being Portuguese. I think it makes sense for us to talk about this player that 100% Geovany Quenda has to go to World Cup to represent Portugal. Brazil has Estêvão. Spain has Lamine Yamal, Portugal have Rodrigo Mora and Geovany Quenda. And Geovany Quenda can play at the highest level in European football at right wing back, as a right winger, and now we saw in the last Champions League game as a left winger. He had a goal and an assist against Club Brugge. That is a really good side. Look at the match they had against Barcelona. Pay attention to Geovany Quenda. I said it, he can reach Ballon d'Or potential discussion with the right pathway and with the right development.
For sure.
Chelsea, you can have in the next 2-3 years Geovany Quenda at the left, Cole Palmer and Quenda. Then you have a Pedro Neto as a guaranteed option that Pedro Neto will be remembered as one of the best Portuguese wingers in Premier League football. I believe he can have that legacy. At Wolves, he was an important player. And at Chelsea, Pedro Neto is overhated. And Portugal, he could start for us at the right wing, and Quenda being that first player to come on. Give him 2-3 years, it'll be the opposite. It'll be Quenda and Neto helping. But the future is all together, and Chelsea has the recruitment, the best recruitment in the world. Look up a name like Joe Shields. He is one of the reasons why Chelsea is so good in this type of recruitment. So many players they get right. Ordonez, Anselmino, Geovany Quenda, Estêvão, Mike Penders, all of these players I just said, all can be the best player in their respective position in the world. And Ordonez, did I say Ordonez?
Yes.
So my point is Chelsea is going 100% bold. And 2 years ago when we heard Chelsea transfer, another Chelsea transfer. Now people are quaking, saying Ordonez now is guaranteed. Mike Penders was guaranteed a year ago. How did these guys do this? Quenda was guaranteed for 50 million. How many Geovany Quendas how many Antonys are a Geovany Quenda? Antony cost 100 million to United, and Geovany Quenda is half the price cost to Chelsea, and he's going to be double the player in the Premier League that Antony was. So my point is, and I really want to state, Quenda, go to the World Cup, and you guys at FC Wonderkid, trust us, Geovany Quenda, one of the best talents I've ever seen in the Portuguese league at 18 years old.
True. And I think I like Carlos Forbes as well, but I think Quenda deserved more to be called up in the last.
Martinez must get blamed for this. Forbes has minutes. We love Carlos Forbes too, and we do see a future of Carlos Forbes in 5-10 years in the Portuguese national team.
And I didn't like what he did to Quenda in the last times that he called up to the Portuguese national team, because Quenda was called up and didn't make his debut. And he could break a record. There were games and
to become the youngest Portuguese player ever.
To become the youngest Portuguese ever. And there were games, easy games that we were winning like 3-0, 4-0, and Quenda could have played that games. This type of decisions I don't understand, and
it's the future of Portugal. The talent level of Quenda deserves to have that stat. Isn't it? If Lamine has it, if others got that opportunity, Quenda deserves that opportunity also.
True.
And there's another stat I think shows people can say, but Geovany Quenda, guys, is still 18. Guys, he's playing at a professional high level for Sporting a year for sure, one season. And this season, he's the only Sporting player. He didn't start every match, but he's the only player to have been involved in every single match of Sporting. He's becoming consistent like a Trincão is for Sporting, and he's played last season more than 50 matches for Sporting. So he's reliable, he's consistent, he's one of the most talented players we've ever had in our league. Chelsea fans, this is the level of talent that Geovany Quenda has. And we have to mention Rodrigo Mora too in all this, because Rodrigo Mora, if he gets the minutes, if he gets the opportunities, Rodrigo Mora, just like Geovany Quenda, will also go to the World Cup. I think Rodrigo Mora will have a second half of the season of elite level. I really believe Rodrigo Mora is going to have that.
I think that depends on Farioli, because
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I think Farioli likes very much Gabri Veiga.
That's having a really good season too. We saw a brace in the last game.
And I think they will not play both, Rodrigo Mora and Gabriel Veiga, under Farioli, because you have also Alan Varela and Froholt.
I don't think they'll both start, but they can both in some game situations play at the same time.
And
it'll be difficult, but
it will
can
be
happen.
Difficult, but I think that's why Rodrigo Mora doesn't have a consistent game time in the Portuguese league, and I think that's why he will not be called up to the World Cup.
Let's see. That's, I think, a position of right now, Felipe. I think you're being safe. But if you don't think that Rodrigo Mora can establish himself or has that talent to become that type of player in the second half of the season, I think
he has that talent. I think I think it depends on the coach, and I think how I see Gabriel Veiga now, and I really like Rodrigo Mora, and I think he's a generational talent, don't get me wrong, but how I see Gabriel Veiga now, I find it difficult. But everything can happen.
Got you. So yes, naturally, so I understand your position, but yes, I wanted to mention the Pedro Neto hate, which is unnecessary, and also the Geovany Quenda has played every single match for Sporting this season, and we're filming before the Sporting match today, so he's gonna play another match too, naturally. And he might go bold again. But there were other players that we have to highlight in European competitions that also are going to Chelsea. Players that are going to Chelsea that went bold in European competitions. Penders beat Crystal Palace, in which some of those moments just show the confidence of a modern-day goalkeeper to play like that. Insane. And Salmino went so bold with a goal and an assist. Estêvão destroyed the Barca defense in that goal. Quenda had a goal and an assist. Satpayev scored a goal also. He went bold. And Emega, that is joining Chelsea this summer, he also scored the goal. The captain of Strasbourg, that we have to say Emega deserves a lot more recognition. And it's not because we compare Emega and Panicelli that we don't like Emega. No. We do believe that Emega could start for the Netherlands in the World Cup. If that happens, okay. So we like Emega a lot, and we do believe he can have an impact for Chelsea. But we don't think will be the best striker in the Premier League. If he actually becomes that, mate, this can be clipped for ages.
No,
so be careful.
I don't think so, but I think talking about Strasbourg, I think there are two players. I don't have stats to back this up, but I think there are two players that have an insane connection, because I see the amount of assists that Diego Moreira does to Emega. It's insane. I don't have the stats, but every time I see Emega scoring, 50% of the times the assist was from Diego Moreira.
Diego Moreira is one of the best players in Liga currently, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Just like Valentin Barco.
Just like Valentin
Crystal
Barco.
Palace fans know right now that's a fact, okay, from both players. Diego Moreira, so he's going to be at Chelsea, you believe, in 2-3 years?
In 2-3 years, I believe, yeah.
Imagine Chelsea have left wing back Diego Moreira, and they have Dennis Geovany Quenda at the left winger too. Two players that were in academy football, one for Sporting, another one at Benfica. Come on, what's this recruitment? The dribbling of Diego Moreira, in terms of skillful, in terms of entertaining. If you haven't watched Diego Moreira play, please do. This is a player that's going to be in football in the next 10 years for how techy he is.
And Portugal lost a big talent because
Belgium,
he went to Belgium, and of course we have Nuno Mendes.
We got others,
but
yes, I agree. He could play for Benfica right now too if he was a Benfica, and 100% make the difference at the club.
Yeah, and I saw the season, the preseason that he did with the Benfica first team.
Yes.
And I saw him now. I think the improvement is insane.
Off ball. The reaction time.
Defensively, it's insane.
Much more solid, yes.
Because he was a winger at a Benfica Youth Academy, and I think he was weak defensively. And right now you see a Diego Moreira, an aggressive Diego Moreira. True. A Diego Moreira that he has a high work rate, and I think it's a very different Diego Moreira that we saw in Benfica.
Factors. Very true, mate.
The improvement is insane, and I think Diego Moreira will end at Chelsea.
Two players that changed their lives at Strasbourg. Many players have changed their lives, and Strasbourg is going to change many lives of young players in the next 5 years. Elite project. Once again, I'm going to come here and defend. Biggest examples recent past, Valentin Barco, left back to midfielder, changed his life, and now Diego Moreira that was a winger, now becoming a wing back, is elite for a system with Glasner, with Ruben Amorim, but he is one of the best left wing backs currently playing in Europe. Two players that changed their lives for making the right decision to go to Strasbourg.
In my opinion, there are two of the most influent players of Strasbourg, because it's Diego Moreira, Valentin Barco, Joaquim Panicelli, and Emega. Maybe the four best players of Strasbourg this season.
If Mamadou Sarr is playing at a high level.
But right now, I'm talking immediate impact.
Okay.
If you take Valentin Barco off the team, it's a very different team.
And then you have an Inciso, you have a Panicelli, you
Kendry
have
Paes.
So many of these players.
Rafael Luiz.
Rafael Luiz, that costs how much? 6 million. 6 million. That it was a very cheap price for a player with
Bargain.
such a high ceiling. So
Yeah.
yes, naturally. So we talked about Chelsea and all these talents, but wanted to talk here about a young talent also that makes sense in European competitions. Lennart Karl. Lennart Karl, oh my days. Lennart Karl, people don't understand how special he is. He's the best player in the world right now, born in 2008. That is undisputed, okay? Lennart Karl, he's got the confidence, he's got the left foot, and Jamal Musiala returns to Bayern. He's playing with Lennart Karl and Olise, okay? He doesn't leave.
True.
That's how special he is. And I know Luis Diaz is there, but they need to find a way to play all of these players because Lennart Karl, the development, the importance, you cannot stop him. He's the first player to score against Arsenal in the Champions League, okay? No player had scored to Arsenal. Lennart Karl did just that, and look at the finish, look at the confidence, look at the audacity of Lennart Karl to be in that position. We're talking here of world-class potential, and if there's a German to win the Ballon d'Or, if we had stocks, Jamal Musiala was the first in terms of talent, but every week that passes by, Lennart Karl, I think, is becoming
And
the
let me
player
say this.
with most potential Ballon d'Or level that's German.
True. And let me say this because Barcelona have Estêvão, Chelsea have Barcelona have Estêvão. Barcelona have Lamine Yamal, Chelsea have Estêvão, and Bayern Munich have Lennart Karl because it's that type of talent that we are talking about. It's a world class talent, and I think is Ballon d'Or potential. Lennart Karl.
100%.
So Bayern Munich is not behind Chelsea and Barcelona right now in terms of his big talent.
No, makes sense.
I think, yeah, very well said. And it's another talent that we already knew like when Lennart was 15, but we already knew that it was one of the best players in Bayern Munich Youth Academy.
Size. It was the size that people... It's understandable for the size of Lennart Karl, but to have the importance, to have... It's confidence. It all goes to confidence because if Lennart Karl is in that position of the pitch for that assist of Olise, you gotta read Olise and you gotta say, no, this is me, this is my moment, I'm gonna be between the center backs and I'm gonna score a first touch finish against Arsenal. We can count by the hand the 17-year-olds that can have the confidence to live up to that moment and to do that action. Lennart Karl did just that, so naturally we mentioned him having that world-class Ballon d'Or potential in the near future. Is there another European competition, Wonderkid, you want to mention here? Satpaev, we mentioned briefly, but Satpaev, come on, guys. Chelsea have a decision to do if he goes to Strasbourg or stay at Chelsea for how good he's being for Kairat Almaty in the Champions League.
Yeah, and he scored his first Champions League goal against Copenhagen.
Exactly.
I think...
I like Suzuki of Copenhagen, the center back.
Yeah. And Copenhagen also have a Wonderkid. It's Victor Dadasan that scored again in the Champions League because he scored against Borussia Dortmund and right now he scored against Kairat Almaty. 17 years old. Striker from Iceland, another player that you guys need to remember the name because I think he has a bright future ahead. And the minutes per goal of this guy, it's insane. I don't have the numbers here, but he doesn't even start for Copenhagen. But every time he came from the bench, he scored. He made assists, and it's insane. That's a player that we must watch until the end of this Champions League.
Makes sense. So yes, we mentioned here at the start of the podcast, players that you got to be watching from the European competitions. Comment down below in the FC Wonderkid podcast players that you want us to talk in future episodes in these moments. So yes, go bold. Like the podcast if you're listening until now. 5 stars on Spotify. It's a big help. We already have 20 ratings and the 5 stars on Spotify. So keep going to our loyal listeners that we see the difference that you guys are doing and listening to the pod and enjoying the pod and share to friends the podcast because this is inevitably going to become the best podcast about young talents in the world. So, naturally, we gotta talk about the Under-17 World Cup that Portugal won 1-0 in that final against Austria. That, come on, guys, Austria is the consequence of modern-day football investments in a country. Red Bull said, no, We have Austria. We can be the best team in Austria. Better than Austria Vienna. Better than Sturm Graz. Then the Sturm Graz is going bold in terms of development in the recent future. But so many Liefering players, Red Bull Salzburg players in this Austria under-17 team. And the player you must know that is going to be the future of Austria, present and future of Austria, is
Johann Moser.
the silver ball, the second best player in the Under-17 World Cup, the top goal scorer of the Under-17 World Cup, playing at Red Bull Salzburg. He must get a chance with Red Bull Salzburg's first team. And you know why? Because he's got that Austrian elite finishing. Cold finishing, decision making that is cold, that is efficient. This man reminds me of a Haaland-esque in terms of like robot focus.
Yeah, true. He doesn't feel the pressure.
Moser is this guy, Johann Moser. So, FC Wonderkid listeners, boom, 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 boom. If we can put an alarm, boom, boom, boom. You must know about this type of player. This is a FC Wonderkid moment. Please remember the name, but let's talk about our own.
He carried Austria to the final of the Under-17 World Cup.
And there's also a very good centre-back too, Ndueke.
True.
That we also know, inevitably Ndueke is going to be in top teams list.
From Austria Vienna.
We're going to talk about Portuguese Wonderkids that went bold in the Under-17 World Cup, but there's like a Noé Fernandes that showed a lot for Belgium. We know Mokio, we know Nathan De Cat, and now we know Noé Fernandes at PSV, Samuel Inácio of Dortmund, like Mathis Albert, Cristiano Orozco that is going to Man United, Mohamed Zongu, I didn't know this talent at Burkina Faso, very good left-footed attacking midfielder, and yes, the Portuguese talents that we got to be excited. We're going to talk here in the podcast, but there's so many talents that impressed me. And Morocco was a bit disappointing at the start, but not with the tournament going further. We saw Abdellah Ouazzane having some good moments, and England was a bit disappointing too.
Yeah,
Luca Williams-Barnett was the best player, but I expected more from others.
It's very difficult for me to understand that because England always have the best teams in terms of individual players, but in the under-19 Euros, they were eliminated.
But I think individual quality in the under-19 Euros England team, there's a lot of good players there.
No, that's what I'm saying. Individually,
but this team, I'm not as, let's say, bullish with the players as I was with others.
This team was one of the best of individually was one of the best of this World Cup.
And I know, just like me, you know Mweka, you know Shisteri, you know Riwen Mua, Max Dauman, that's playing now in the other 19s. That I'm excited, really excited.
And they were eliminated in early phase of the competition. So, and in the Under-17 World Cup, England was also eliminated in the quarterfinals, I think, against Austria.
Yeah.
They lost 4-0. Insane. Another masterclass.
And Venezuela beat England 3-0.
3-0.
In the group stage.
Because there are players there, Rayan Eske, the son of Emil Eske, that did a brilliant competition.
City Academy, correct?
Yeah, City Academy. Luca Williams-Barnett from Tottenham. I think it's the best talent at Tottenham Youth Academy right now. Caden Bright-White from Manchester City as well. There are Alejandro Rodriguez that is an option for the first team of Lyon. And this is a team that must go at least to the semi-finals of the competition.
With that level of talent.
With that level of talent. And that's what I'm feeling with these youth English teams. It's that they have individually, they are the best, one of the best of the competitions, but when they go...
But collectively they're not as good as us.
Something is,
Under-17 Euros, we win it. Under-17 World Cup, we win it.
Yeah.
There was a time that England had that level of collective when they had a Phil Foden. They had a good team there. Yeah. They had a good connection with those players. I enjoyed watching England back in that day. But now, Portugal is dominating the young players, and Spain and Brazil also, we got to say. Brazil collectively is not one of the best two, but individually Oh my days. Del is going to be a player that you got to remember from Bahia. Felipe Moraes of Cruzeiro came off the bench sometimes. Impressed me a lot in the Under-17 World Cup. The fullbacks, Ângelo Cândido, correct?
Ângelo Cândido.
Very, very good right back. Tiaguinho also. That was one of the best midfielders of the competition, right?
Tiaguinho was the player that impressed me the most in this competition.
And the player that's the best of Brazil in the competition is?
Zé Lucas, of course.
That we did warn everyone
we
to pay
warn
attention
you
to
guys,
Zé
and
Lucas.
the consistency of Zé Lucas during the whole tournament, he must be in the best 11 of the competition. Because
Rafael Quintas.
I think Zé Lucas was better in this competition, because Rafael Quintas have also a little bit of physically struggles during the competition. We feel that in the end of the tournament. But I think Zé Lucas, the impact that he had on this Brazilian national team was insane. In my opinion, he has to be in the best 11. But talking about Tiaguinho was the player that impressed me the most during this competition, because I didn't know how he played. I didn't heard the name before, but I didn't know how he played. And is aggressive, is very technically gifted, and he's also he doesn't feel the pressure. He knows how to detect the tempo of the game as well. Very good on the ball, and I think that's a player that has a bright future ahead, Tiaguinho. And that penalty that he scored against Paraguay, I don't know if you see.
Yes.
Panenka. That Paraguay was...
The audacity to do that in that moment.
The Paraguay goalkeeper was distracting Tiaguinho, but he did the Panenka.
So Brazil Wonderkids in the Under-17 World Cup, you got to know Del, Tiaguinho, Zé Lucas, Felipe Moraes,
Gabriel Mac too,
Ângelo Cândido right back.
Cândido.
These are talents you got to know, and that's why you got to listen to the FC Wonderkid podcast weekly, guys.
True.
And we got to mention here our own. You said the player that impressed you the most in the Under-17 World Cup was Tiaguinho. The player that impressed me the most was a Portuguese man, obviously. Mauro Furtado. That's the curious fact, is Mauro Furtado became the first defender to win,
to be in the top 3 of best players in the Under-17 World Cup.
Exactly. Mauro Furtado, that was playing for the Under-23s of Benfica, but now no doubt everyone can see he has to play for Benfica, play professional football as soon as possible. And I'll go bold and say, Mauro Furtado, people have to obviously highlight all of these players like Portugal, Banjaki, Rafael Quintas, José Neto that can play for Benfica's first team this season. But Mauro Furtado for me is the player in the Portuguese team that I see the highest ceiling. He can become one of the best left-footed center backs in the world because of his passing accuracy, the technique, the reading of the game, the defensive duels. Mauro Furtado can become one of the best center backs in the world. I am sure that Chelsea, Barcelona, Real Madrid all have Mauro Furtado on their lists. So this is a center back with world-class potential. And why is the Portuguese team of Under-17 World Cup that won it and the Under-17 Euro Special? José Neto can become one of the best left backs in the world. Banjaki can become one of the best right backs in the world. I said Mauro Furtado can become one of the best center backs in the world. Anísio Cabral, with the right confidence, with the right pathway, can become one of the best strikers in the world. And Matheus Schmid can become one of the best number 10s in the world, just like Rodrigo Mora has that potential. So Portugal, we're incredibly lucky for this generation we have. And it's not Portuguese bias for me to say that all of these players I just mentioned have world-class potential. Romário Cunha, goalkeeper too. The Golden Glove.
Yeah, the Golden
But
Glove.
I like Ethan Scally a lot of Japan. He was Japanese keeper, was so confident, mate.
Yeah, but they were not the best goalkeeper. My best goalkeeper of the competition, they are not.
Who's yours?
João Pedro from Brazil. João Pedro, I think he was clutch in the right moments when Brazil needed in the penalty.
Romário, though. I put Romário.
In the penalty shootout situations, and he conceded so few goals.
And
like
he had
two
a
goals.
worse defense in front of him than
Yeah.
Romário had with Portugal. I understand that position.
Was another player that impressed me the most from Brazil, o João Pedro.
But I like Romário's story so much since he's a Braga Academy player,
Yeah,
not Porto, Benfica. That Benfica had 10 players in this team of the Under-17 World
Yeah.
Cup. This is such a special generation, and I wanted to talk here at the podcast about these players. Anísio Cabral, that had a mega improvement from the Under-17 Euros to the Under-17 World Cup. I believe Tomás Soares, the substitute striker, had more goals than Anísio in the Under-17 Euros. So seeing now Anísio growing, developing, and saying to the world, I am the best striker in Portuguese young football with 8 goal involvements in 8 matches. Come on, guys. Please remember this name of Anísio Cabral. And is there another player that you want to mention? Or a best 11, Felipe, that you'd like to mention to the listeners?
Yeah, I have. So, my best 11 of the Under-17 World Cup is João Pedro in the goal. Then I have José Neto, left back. Right back, Ângelo Cândido, I put from Brazil. Then the centre back duo, I don't have any doubts, Mauro Furtado and Nduque from Austria, great centre back from Austria Vienna. Then I have to put Zé Lucas in this midfield. Then Johannes Moser, of course, Mateus Mid and Samuel Inácio.
Very attacking
midfield. I cheated again. And
no, Gilles Steele, that's also a good option.
Gilles Steele, that's a good option, yeah, as well. But I have to put Johannes Moser and Mateus Mid and Samuel Inácio. So, but in the attack, I have 2 strikers. I have to put 2 strikers because Anísio Cabral and Del from Brazil.
You're giving big respect to Del.
Yeah, Del made a brilliant competition, and I think Zé Lucas and Del were the most important players from the Brazil national team because in the important moments when the situation was tough was with the help of Del and with the help of
and Ângelo Cândido too.
And
Ângelo Cândido for the position. He was very, very solid. I was impressed too. So yes, these are the players that you got to be watching from the Under-17 World Cup. Thank you for so many of these young talents going bold. It's so good that we have to pay attention now to a lot more young players from a lot other national teams. Uganda to Mali, so many young players. So comment down below the player that impressed you the most in the Under-17 World Cup, guys. And yes, now we're going to a stage of the podcast in which we're going to talk about players that we like, young players we like, young teams we like. This is going to be the fun time with Como being our start here. Como that is unbeaten in 12 matches. 12 matches this season. Says Fàbregas ball. Elite, man. I'm so impressed with what I'm seeing. Nico Paz, the joint top goal scorer, joint top assister of Serie A. Nico Paz, that convinces every week that passes by more of a guarantee, just like we say in every podcast, that he has to go to Real Madrid. It makes complete sense and competes with Arda Güler and Franco Mastatuono in one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team in the world for many people.
And it's not just Nico Paz, because I have to say the best under-21 centre back this season is Jacobo Ramon.
Not just in Serie A, everywhere.
No, everywhere. The best under-21 centre back this season is Jacobo Ramon.
Better than Anselmino if he goes bold in the next.
Right now,
next
it's Jacobo Ramon. Anselmino will have a brilliant season. I don't know, but right now it's Jacobo Ramon at the moment because he's an aerial beast. He's so good with the ball, so important for the build-up play of Como. And he's very aggressive, a very complete centre back. You guys have to watch him.
Better than Raul Asensio.
This season. Right now, yeah.
Jacobo Ramon, made in La Fábrica, just like
made in La Fábrica, he must return to Real Madrid.
Fàbregas saving careers here of Wonderkids.
And Jacobo Ramon, La Fábrica talents, it's the big difference from La Masia and La Fábrica. It's that the La Fábrica talents have to prove themselves outside the club. Because you have Nico Paz, you have Jacobo Ramon, and you have Kenan Yıldız, that they are proving themselves outside Real Madrid, and they are saying we have the quality to play for Real Madrid
And who did
next
that?
season or in 2 seasons.
And who did that? Alvaro Carreras, and he returned to Real Madrid inevitably.
True.
And I saw a YouTuber saying who are the best fullbacks to play against Lamine Yamal. Alvaro Carreras was exactly that and proved himself in the Champions League to be that. So naturally, we had to say Jacobo Ramon, Nico Paz, going to Como, being coached by Cesc Fàbregas was the right career choice. Just like we see a Perrone that was with Guardiola, but now with Fàbregas going to an elite level at Como. So exciting. Hassan Diao, he's also going to play a lot better in the second half of the season. Jesus Rodriguez, also another option.
Jayden Adai as a winger, of course, another option for the winger position.
Sergi Roberto there as a leader. Como, pay attention to this team that is making history in Serie A.
Yeah, true.
Could Como finish top 6 in Serie A, Flip?
Yeah. Top 5.
And Fàbregas then leaves after this season.
I don't know. I don't know, because the Como project is very good and very strong, and the young players, the quality of the young players that they are signing, I see an improvement of the Como project, because last season they established themselves in the Serie A. They didn't get relegated. They made a solid season.
True.
Right now, this season, I think they will get European places. Next season, I don't know. And I think Fàbregas likes the project, likes how he is involved in the project, because he has a word on the players that are signing, the way that they are working, the philosophy of how Como plays.
And the scouts.
The
They even
scouts.
got the scouts from X. Ben Mattison.
Ben
and I spoke
Mattison
sometimes
and
to him.
Felix, my friend Felix.
It's so good
Not my
to see
friend, but
Como
yeah.
trusting scouts from people that we know, that they know young football too.
Yeah,
It's it's the
True,
future
true.
Como, and we believe that Como can finish top 6 this season, and Como can dream of one day getting a top 4 Champions League and maybe winning a Serie A. That is incredibly bold for it to happen, though, because it's the after Cesc Fàbregas
They
that
are
makes
not
it difficult.
They are not so far from the first place in Serie A. I see, because
They have to go bold in January.
first
though,
of
for that to
all,
happen.
Como is the team that have
I think
most.
AC Milan, though. AC Milan, man.
Well, let's see,
Allegri. Fundamental football. Modric, Rafael Leão playing better. I think AC Milan is my main team now to win
Let's see. Because I see some stats about this Como team that are impressive, and they are the team that have the most ball possession percentage of a Serie A this season. They are also the team that have most intensity in the duels.
Yes.
And there are also another stats that explain that Como is the team that reacts better to the loss of the ball.
Yes.
So these stats give me
Make you
the
think
confidence.
about it.
Give me the confidence that Como can finish top 4 this season.
Get the Champions League
Get Champions
football.
League places,
That
yeah.
would be such a bold statement by Cesc Fàbregas, and showing to the world he is also one of the best young managers in
And they are
football.
unbeaten for 14 games. So
I saw 12. You see 14. That's insane. The stats. Oh my days. And yes, we mentioned Nico Paz. We mentioned Como. I also wanted to have a chance to mention other Wonderkids that are getting a lot more attention. January Wonderkids that could be leaving their clubs. Keith Smith could be leaving as Alkmaar, like we mentioned in previous episodes. Rodrigo Mendonça of Elche. We see a lot of comparisons with Pedri in terms of the style of play. Could also be leaving Elche. Jérémy Jacquet could be leaving Stade Rennes, because a lot of teams, Jérémy Jacquet could be leaving Stade Rennes because of a lot of teams need a young center back with these attributes in terms of ball confidence on ball, in terms of winning duels, in terms of potential for his national team. Jérémy Jacquet, he could start for France one day. I look at him, I look how he plays. He's got the talent level of a player of Stade Rennes Academy that was with Désiré Doué, Ousmane Dembélé, so many academy players at the highest level. Jacquet can be a player, established player of that level. So
he needs to go to United, Jérémy Jacquet. I think it would be very important for United, and I think he would fit perfectly and would be easy for him to play in the system, in the Ruben Amorim system and dynamics. And I would love to see
Jérémy
him.
Jacquet, De Ligt, and Lenioro.
Yeah.
But where's Lisandro Martinez going to play?
There are so many matches. You have also Aiden Heaven that, in my opinion, should get some minutes as well.
Exactly.
So,
I say to Man United fans that say, Lisandro Martinez, I say to them, options. Having options, having guarantees, that's what Ruben Amorim wants. And having a Jeremy Jacquet next to De Ligt, next to Lenioro, next to Lisandro Martinez. He plays with 3 center-backs. One gets injured. He needs to have another guarantee in the center back to replace him as a substitute too. True. So that's why we mentioned Jeremy Jacquet. That makes complete sense in the podcast. Another player I wanted to mention here that makes sense for us to mention too is an appreciation here to Phil Foden, because Man City, we're going to draw that match against Leeds, and who was the man to save Man City was Phil Foden, that surpassed David Beckham in terms of goals in the Premier League from an Englishman. Foden deserves a lot more recognition, but he's not. Don't start smirking, because Foden is not better than Cole Palmer and Jude Bellingham. But Foden has the ability, and we saw when he wins the best player in the Premier League, to be one of the best players in the world. He just has to be more consistent about it. And if Man City's winning the Prem is with Haaland and obviously Phil Foden going bold and becoming even more of a legend than he already is. He's got more than 5 Premier League ones. I think it's 6 Premier Leagues in his career.
Insane.
Aye.
He will retire as a Manchester City legend. Do you think?
100%, mate. 100%. Yeah, for me, I this is mad. I see other players, but Phil Foden, I just can't picture him outside of Man City.
Yeah.
I can't see Phil Foden outside in another club. I think he's a testament of the Pep Guardiola project at Man City. He never went on loan, Phil Foden. Yeah. Cole Palmer was said, you're going to go on loan. He said he refused. He then left as a transfer. Foden was always treated in a special way because he is a special talent. True. And that's why Phil Foden is going to be at the highest level until the end of his career, because in terms of talents, in terms of technique, in terms of ball conduction, obviously he's always going to be in the list of best players in the world. So I wanted to give this appreciation. With the 2 goals against Leeds, he was the man to come up in that big situation that was needed, not Erling Haaland, that didn't score or assist. I had triple captain Haaland in the FPL. That's why I wanted to mention Haaland. You didn't go bold, but Phil Foden did just that. Yeah, I wanted to, and then I wanted to ask you too, Felipe, here at the end. Are Man City, you believe, title contenders against Arsenal?
They are title contenders, but I think Arsenal will win the Premier League this season, because they are the team that they are the most complete team in the world. Mm-hmm. They are good in defensively. I don't need to talk. I don't need to talk. The best team in the world defensively. With the ball, offensively, good. Set pieces, good. In all the moments of the game, Arsenal is solid as a rock. And these things, the consistency that they have also in the games against Bayern Munich, then in the Premier League, the consistency is there. They are good in every single phase of the game. So I think these are indicators that reveals that they are winning the Premier League. And let's see what they can do in the Champions League, because Champions League, it's a very different competition.
If they get PSG again, I don't know if they beat PSG.
Yeah, they have, because in the Champions League, you get into the quarterfinals, semifinals. Yes, you have to perform in that 2 games. In that 2 games, they are crucial. So let's see. I think Premier League, they will win the Premier League this season.
I don't know. Man City has the best player in the league, Erling Haaland, when he's in form. I think it's going to be a very interesting title race, no doubt. And yes, let's wait and see. Man City, Chelsea, that Estêvão can be a starter for Chelsea this season. Estêvão could, at the end of the season, undisputed, be the best player in the Premier League. He's got the talent to be that. I don't know if he's going to be that, but he's got the talent to be that. And we talked about that in the last podcast. Players in the Premier League with Ballon d'Or potential. We said Quenda, we said Estêvão and Haaland have Ballon d'Or potential, 2 players in the Premier League. Do you see any Arsenal player with the potential to win a Ballon d'Or one day, Felipe?
Only Max Daumann.
But he has that potential.
Only Max Daumann. Because...
but they could sign a Ballon d'Or potential player, you don't reckon? What if Geovany Quenda had gone to Arsenal? What if Rafael Leão goes to Arsenal? Could Rafael Leão go to Ballon d'Or levels? Because I see the talent level, the ability of Rafael Leão. Rafael Leão going to the Premier League, the best place for him to go is Arsenal. Rafael Leão is better than Trossard and then Martinelli. On one end, Rafael Leão. On the other, Saka. And then in the middle, Odegaard or Eze. This is goals guaranteed with a Gyökeres as striker, and maybe with another striker to compete with Gyökeres to give even more guarantees. That's what Arsenal can establish themselves as one of the best teams we've seen in the Premier League, and they're 2 signings away. They're a left winger that guarantees goals away, Nico Williams, Rafael Leão, and another striker to compete with Gyökeres.
I think Arsenal will never sign Rafael Leão because defensively he doesn't have the work rate that you need to play under Mikel Arteta.
I think Arteta can convince himself that he can be the man to change him. I really think he can convince himself that he can be the man to change him.
I don't know.
Madueke, really good, but he's better defensively than Rafael.
Yeah,
yes.
He's better defensively, and I think it's something that it's crucial for Arteta, and he will not sign a player that is not so good defensively.
But let's wait and see. Who do you think could go to Arsenal? So to have that type of level or ability with potential.
Wingers.
Rayan of Vasco da Gama going straight up to Arsenal.
Could be an option, yes. Rayan is very intense and has the work rate needed to play for Arsenal, for sure. But Rayan is scoring a lot of goals because
Kenan Yıldız? Could Kenan Yıldız go to Arsenal?
Kenan Yıldız, yes.
He should be convincible for Arsenal. Because Juventus... Kenan Yıldız is being the best player of Juventus, undoubtedly. One of the best players in Serie A. Kenan Yıldız can go to Arsenal, be the left winger, play with a Martin Odegaard or Eze in the middle, play with Saka at the right wing. Kenan Yıldız has the intelligence on and off ball to play in the Mikel Arteta system and becoming the best player in that team and to one day winning a Ballon d'Or.
Nico Williams could play for... I think he could play for Arsenal.
I agree. But when will Nico Williams leave Atletico Bilbao?
That's the question. I don't know. Yesterday I thought about this.
But imagine Nico Williams and Kenan Yıldız go to Arsenal. What would happen?
I don't think, because I don't like to see Kenan Yıldız as a pure winger. You know, when I saw Arsenal playing, I saw Saka, Gabriel, Martinelli, players that are pure winger, play very wide, and I don't think Arsenal is the best club for Kenan Yıldız.
You know why? Because once again, in this moment, I think that Arteta, Ruben, these are types of managers that appreciate a player that can play with the highest level and ability in 2 positions. I think Kenan, both at left wing and at a 10, has the ability to play in the Premier League highest level. And I think he's a better 10. No doubt. But he has the ability to be a very high level left winger too in the Premier League, in my opinion. And to play with an Odegaard, Eze. It's all about options. Eze sometimes is going to be at the left. Eze sometimes is going to be in the middle. Kenan Yıldız sometimes likes to do those types of movements and understanding.
Yeah. I understand your point.
But so you think Kenan Yıldız is going to stay at Juventus?
Yes, I think.
It should happen. It should happen. If Juventus lets Kenan Yıldız leave the club, it's another embarrassing decision from the club that it should never happen. Last game in Serie A against Cagliari, best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
Match in the Champions League, best player on the pitch. Kenan Yıldız is so obvious to everyone, not just Juventus fans, football fans, that Juventus have to extend his contract if they want to become one of the best teams in the world and win the Champions League one day. Kenan Yıldız must be one of the diamonds of that project.
And I think they acknowledge that already. I think because
has he extended?
No.
Has he extended?
No.
Still don't acknowledge it enough. They still don't acknowledge it enough. That's how I think. If they haven't extended Kenan Yıldız to this day, as we're talking at 1 o'clock here, and they haven't acknowledged Kenan Yıldız still. And if they don't agree in the fee, what is it? Is it 1 million? Is it 2 million? Because I am absolutely sure, Premier League teams are going to agree to the fees that Kenan Yıldız demands. That's the man. I get stressed because I see Luca, I see Juventus fans. They have to go in rage if they don't extend him, man. They have to.
Yeah.
We live in a time that Juventus is no longer the best team in Serie A.
When the contract of Kenan Yıldız expires?
I think it's a season and a half. It has to be now, man. It has to be now. That's why I'm stressing here in the FC Wonderkid podcast about it. And this is a team that's Dean Oizen left for the fee that he left. Yeah. Albert Costa went to Futebol Clube do Porto as one of the best right backs.
Matias Solé, Barrenetxe.
So that's why I'm stressing.
Matias Solé.
Yeah.
This role in the Roma team.
Could
crazy.
Gasperini
one of the best talents in the Serie A this season.
I think Roma are the clear favorites to win Serie A.
Yeah,
because of Matias Solé and
Gasperini. I said it in the beginning of the season. Gasperini is a brilliant manager, a world-class manager, and will have a lot of great results and in the Roma national.
You just feel destined for greatness at Roma, at a club with such historical value that had such big legends like a Totti in the past, a De Rossi. Now, with a player that respects that Italian heritage, I am sure they're going to succeed. Roma and, pay attention, Argentinians. Matias Solé could become Italian. Matias Solé could become Italian and be the hero that Italy needs, since Chiesa has not been the same player for the Italian national team. And obviously, for a club level, he hasn't been the player that we once thought he could become, okay? So, but we do see glimpses of Chiesa making things phenomenal on the pitch. Is there anything here at the end of the FC Wonderkid podcast you want to mention here, Fleep? I have appreciation, not a Wonderkid, but Xhaka. He's going incredibly bold for Sunderland. What a season he's having, one of the best signings of this season. And inspiring young players like Sadike, like Brian Broby, like Talbi, all at Sunderland in 6 seasons. Robin Royf, the young goalkeeper that's inspiring so many people. It's with a Captain Xhaka. The Captain Xhaka of Sunderland, one of the best promoted teams.
True. And one of the teams that impressed a lot of people this season, because I think the amount of signings that they did in this season, and of course a lot of teams make this amount of signings when they get promoted to the Premier League, was a lot. And I think it's difficult for a coach to have a connection with a lot of new players, and they are proving that they can be a great team and they can have a great season, and I think they will end top 10 at least in the Premier League this season.
I've got here something we can mention here at the end that we were smirking off the podcast. JJ Gabriel and Robinho Jr. one day playing together for Man United. That's going to be insane in terms of technique, in terms of showboating. 2 players with world-class potential, 2 Brazilian-born. JJ Gabriel was born in Brazil?
I don't
or
think
in
so.
England. No, he represents England.
In England.
But JJ Gabriel and Robinho Jr., the potential if Man United signs Robinho Jr., that's going to be elite scenes.
And let me say, because JJ Gabriel made an hat-trick against Liverpool under 18 and is playing 3 years up, and he has 10 games in the under 18 Premier League, 10 goals. So
and trains for the first team too,
and trains with the first team. I think generational talent, one talent that will end in Man United first team soon, and I think it's the big gem of Carrington right now. And
next season, if they sign Robinho Jr., it's going to be Robinho Jr. and JJ Gabriel, Wonderkids to watch for Man United next season. That is a lot more exciting than anything that happened in the past. Harry Amas with a successful loan. Aiden Heaven developed another year in the first team. Diego Leon is going to go on loan and impress a lot of people. Man United, young talents even, it's going to be different in the future. Ruben Amorim is key in terms of that development.
And the Colombian Caicedo is coming.
Orozco.
He arrived this week at
1 million cost
1
Man
million
United.
cost Cristian Orozco, the next Moises Caicedo.
Captain of Colombia in the U17 World Cup. Off ball, incredibly good. Leader, very good technically, very good on pass. Orozco is another player you gotta know. So Man United, the future players, the future looks so good. But yes, if you're listening to the FC Wonderkid podcast until now, thank you so much for listening to episode 14. It's been a fantastic episode with so much information, and appreciate by showing 5 stars on Spotify if you're listening until now, and like on YouTube. It's a big help for us in the podcast. Go bold. Next week, we're going to go bold. We promise. Every Monday it comes out. So yes, thank you to everyone that's listening until now.
Thank
you for going bold with me and Felipe Souza.
Thank you.